Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Is there reason to be concerned about the Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary this February? We can't help but be worried after Super Mario Bros. 40th anniversary in September lacked the big new reveals and had some other baggage with it. So let's explore the potential pitfalls together, but first be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell, and let's get into it. The Legend of Zelda franchise is turning 40 on February 21st, 2026. And we are expecting Nintendo to do something special for this anniversary. Maybe by announcing the long-rumored remake of Ocarina of Time or even the next 3D Zelda. However, our optimism has turned into concern after we watched the September 12th Nintendo Direct, with the opening 20-minute segment focusing on another 40th anniversary, namely Super Mario Bros. Naturally, we got also a little bit of Zelda, with her being limited to her scenes and first gameplay in Age of Imprisonment, and coming Thursday, November 6th, and with likely a new Link construct, it is good news, as Hyrule Warriors' main release is no longer at risk to be part of the 40th anniversary, allowing for other Zelda releases to take center stage. Yes, we have avoided the worst case. But the question though is, what kind of reveals and at what price will they be?
With Mario's anniversary, many went in expecting a big showcase of a new Mario platformer along with other surprises. While the teaser of the Super Mario Galaxy movie was welcome, it was followed up with less than stellar announcements. Overpriced remasters of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 and Amiibo, Mario Tennis at $70, the Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and concluding not with a 3D Mario or even Mario Maker, but a Yoshi game. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book would have been a welcome announcement any other time, but to conclude the celebration of Nintendo's most iconic character? Not so much. So what does this mean for Zelda's 40th anniversary? Will it also be met with a terrible fate? If a February Direct comes next year and will hold space for a Zelda 40th anniversary segment, what can we reasonably expect, knowing how Mario's 40th turned out? Well, there could be some good mixed with bad. Thankfully, we may not hear much about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, as that will have been out for a few months. At the very least, we could see some DLC like we did for Age of Calamity's expansion pass, split off between two waves throughout the year. This is exactly what happened in the February 2021 Nintendo Direct, which, while not recognizing the Zelda 35th anniversary, did have Hyrule Warriors DLC, producer Eiji Aonuma, and the reveal of Skyward Sword HD. The recognition itself came in the main E3 Nintendo Direct later that year. But onto the present and exciting reveals, since Nintendo could do a lot to make Zelda's 40th better than Mario's 40th.
So just finally bringing the stock on the Wii U, long-awaited Switch versions of The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. This could be more interesting than the Mario Galaxy 1+2 remasters because, unlike Galaxy 1, these two Zelda games haven't seen any Switch versions, aside from Wind Waker on Switch 2's GameCube and SO, and that version isn't the best. However, Nintendo might see that as an excuse not to release these HD versions on Switch and instead put the graphically inferior GameCube version of Twilight Princess on NSO, thus officially dashing all hopes for these HD versions on Switch and Switch 2. After all, there was no need to put the 3D All-Stars versions of Super Mario 64 and Sunshine back on the market, as one is out on Nintendo 64 NSO and the other is coming to GameCube NSO. It wouldn't be surprising to see this same philosophy applied to Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, as unfortunate as that would be. But say these games do come out on the Switch, like both Mario Galaxies. What does that mean for pricing? Will they cost a similar amount, so say $40 each, or $70 in one package? In fact, that would actually be a great price for these two games and much smaller pill to swallow than Galaxy 1+2. Mainly since both have been requested for a long time, we didn't play them on the Switch, and both of these bigger and longer games than any of the Mario Galaxies. But at the same time, maybe Nintendo would see an opportunity and release only Twilight Princess. But not at $40, but rather at $60 or $70, the typical Zelda price. It would definitely not be ideal, but us Zelda fans are used to just that. But having Twilight Princess again for its 20th anniversary would be a little bit of a letdown. At $70 for a re-release of a remaster, that is far more controversial.
Meanwhile, the existence of Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 edition for spring 2026 makes us think that another Zelda game could get the same treatment sometime the same year. Only problem, All the Nintendo Switch Zelda games have Switch 2 upgrades, so Switch 2 editions of those games could be redundant unless they feature new content, like additional dungeons or modes. Well, apart from one, Skyward Sword HD. It could actually work with mouse mode for the beetle and, dowsing. At the same time, most fans have already moved on from this 5-year-old game. Plus, it would be controversial to ask for a money upgrade of a Switch remaster, unless it has Zelda's mini quest. That has never happened before. Not to mention announcing a Switch 2 edition of Skyward Sword HD without any sign of Wind Waker or Twilight Princess is just asking for backlash from the Zelda fanbase. Instead, what might make the most sense for a Switch 2 edition is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Bump the frame rate up to 60 frames per second, and best of all, make it free. Maybe we could even get the masks of the sages as an outfit for the champions. It'll give fans a reason to go back to Age of Calamity despite its non-canon story to Breath of the Wild after playing the canon prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. Nevertheless, fans will want to know what they can expect in terms of new Zelda games. No doubt many will tune in to see if we'll get our first look at the next 3D Zelda. But is that a reasonable expectation, given that the Mario 40th Anniversary segment, despite having both Shigeru Miyamoto and Yoshiaki Koizumi, didn't announce the next 3D Mario, or any new Mario title for that matter? We have a feeling history could repeat itself for Zelda's 40th.
If anything, producer Eiji Aonuma could show up just to say that they're hard at work on the next game and will have more to reveal in the future. He did just that in February 2021, but there it was confirmed that there would be information on the new Zelda game later that year, which was true. What was also true was that the game was revealed nearly 4 years prior to the release of the final Tears of the Kingdom. Truthfully, the next Zelda game is a 50-50. It really depends if the Zelda team wants to reveal so soon again. Yes, come May 2026, it will be over 3 years since Tears of the Kingdom released, and new 3D Zeldas get revealed sooner than this. Even still, games as huge as open as Zelda take longer and longer to make. With Mario's 40th leaving out 3D Mario despite over 8 years since Odyssey, the Zelda team could cook until 2027 before revealing, all to have a shorter reveal to release cycle this time. Thankfully, Nintendo rarely leaves Zelda fans hungry, and they could announce a new game for the 40th anniversary. It is just that it may be something a little smaller, and from another studio. Think about how Mario Tennis and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book got announced during Mario's 40th anniversary instead of a new Mario game. We're thinking of something similar for Zelda, like Tingle and their gigantic balloon or something. It would be interesting to see Nintendo hand over the Zelda property to another developer, say as was done with Cadence of Hyrule in 2019.
Still, after using their partners for Zelda and Hyrule Warriors in both 2024 and 2025, we wouldn't be too happy with a smaller Zelda spin-off that costs $70 US. Why this price? Just ask Mario Tennis Fever. That said, Zelda's future is filled with more than just games, as the live-action movie from Sony Pictures is currently slated for May 2027, which isn't so far away. Could there be movie news as early as February 2026? It's possible, but given that filming hasn't even begun, expectations should be kept in check here. The most likely movie news we could get is more casting announcements, such as what happened with the Mario movie in the September 2021 Nintendo Direct. And maybe a title reveal with a flyover seeing the back of our new Link to reveal the first look of the movie, and then going on to reveal the rest of the movie cast. That is, if they don't get announced on Twitter by Miyamoto beforehand. This is where he revealed the casting for Link and Zelda, being Benjamin Evan Ainsworth and Bo Bragason. Twitter announcements just don't have the same hype. Then there's the case of the Tears of the Kingdom Masterworks, only released in Japan, and we've been waiting over a year for localized English prints. Okay, enough teasing. Let's end briefly with Ocarina of Time 4K, the single full 4K remake that needs to be developed by Nintendo, not Grezzo or Tantalus. It has been rumored, and if it's true, it'll steal the show. Nevertheless, it could also misfire.
But being the first remake at an $80 price. A massive controversy in the making, but one that could be handled with the right amount of new content and even dungeon. If it is more of a new game with a proper open world, with new parts of Castletown to explore for instance, then Zelda 40th could avoid the same troubles as Mario 40th, simply by delivering more even at a higher price. In the end, We're looking forward to The Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary, but we can't help but be more concerned after the lackluster Mario 40th anniversary when it comes to new mainline game and proper remake front. And Zelda 40th could be at the risk of the same compared to Zelda 35th. But what do you think? Should we still be just as hyped for Zelda 40th? Let us know in the comment section down below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell for more Zelda videos in the future. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to our heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf and Kintar. You all rock, and please enjoy both of these awesome videos.